Welcome back to another video with Havoc the Degen. I'm Havoc the Degen. And if you're here and you're watching this video, chances are you're a little bit of a Degen as well. Today we're going to be going through the Dreadfulz NFT. If you haven't heard of it, it is a pretty awesome project. I'm excited about it, but before we dive in, you know what we got to do. If you're watching this right now, please understand this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm putting this out there because this is a project that I'm interested in. This is a project that I've bought into. And I think it's a really cool project. I'm not being paid by Dreadfulz to put this out there. I'm not getting any rewards for putting this out there. The only reward that I'm looking for by putting this out there is for you to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button. Today, 76 subscribers. Not to be on an ego trip, but I feel like I deserve at least 77. If you disagree, don't subscribe, fine. And if you're new here, I go through projects that I'm interested in. I tell you about them, I tell you what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and we all have a good time. So without further ado, let's dive into Dreadfulz. What are Dreadfulz? Well, Dreadfulz are the wicked inheritors of avarice, or avarice, I don't know. I don't know that word, but who cares? Once their names are written in the Grand Inquisitor's black book, inked in their blood, they are forever transformed into eternally evil creatures spreading wickedness throughout the verse. Will you join the Dreads? Not gonna lie, that's the first time I've read that, and it's a lot more diabolical than I thought. So here's the roadmap. They've got the Blue Vault, they've got Stake and Earn Dread, Form the Dreads DAO, Metaverse ready 3D model claim the Elixir. Okay, so real quick, we're gonna dive into the white paper. That's typically where I like to start, and this one has me a bit excited. So Dreadfulz, what do I like? The first thing I see is Dreadfulz are the opposite of pastel, cutesy, and warm animals. If that doesn't speak to you, I don't know. But it speaks to me. I can't be the only one who's tired of pastel derivatives and copycats and ape derivatives constantly. This is kind of a little bit of a breath of fresh air. Now, the number one thing that I do like about this project is the fact that they have staking. If you've checked out any of my other videos, you know I like these degen plays on Phantom and AVAX and Binance and all these other chains. This one's on ETH, and the currency you earn by staking is called Dreads. Now, back to their white paper, what does Dread do? And if you're not familiar with how staking works, it's pretty simple. You have an NFT, you connect your wallet to the staking site, then you select your NFTs or select all and click stake. You have to pay gas to stake them and to unstake them, which is why you want to make sure you get into the right project when you do that. But once they're staked, you're earning whatever the currency is that they're paying out in. Now, this project just popped up yesterday. There's been a ton of FUD, which we'll get into, but you can see they have 31.5% staked. And each NFT that you have staked earns 12 Dread a day. So what does Dread do? Let's get into that. So Dread equals vault ownership, it equals DAO governance, and it equals ecosystem activations. So the vault ownership, what does that look like? Basically, 6.9% of the primary mint. Now this minted out for 0.088 ETH. There are 7,777 of them, which means the vault's value is already over 47 ETH. But then we have the DAO governance. So 25% of the secondary sale royalties are going into that vault, into the DAO governance vault. And then finally, we have the ecosystem activations. Now, what they did with these is kind of cool. You've got legendary auctions. So normally an NFT collection is going to have a certain amount of one-of-ones or legendaries or epics or whatever you want to call them. With Dreadfulz, they have 20 of them. 10 of them will be found randomly after the reveal, and 10 of them will be auctioned and can only be purchased with Dread. So while you're staking, you're earning this Dread, you're actually going to be able to bid on one of the legendaries. If you've ever wanted to get a legendary or one of the one-of-ones in a collection, all you have to do on this one is stake and win the auction. Next up is the Dread Shop. They're gonna have whitelist allocations, so sometimes projects will collaborate with other projects and they'll get a certain amount of whitelist allocations. In order to make it fair, what they do is they put those in their marketplace. You can bid on them or buy them with your Dread. Then there'll be physical merchandise or items or whatnot. Alpha passes, again, things to get you into more early projects with potential, and tool subscriptions. Tool subscriptions meaning, NFT finder, tools, wizards, things. There's all sorts of tools. I don't know exactly which ones they're talking about, but I'm in. Then we have the Metaverse claim. This is the full body 3D model for plug and play into your metaverse. So you'll get your regular Dreadfulz, and you'll also be able to use Dreads to get your 3D Dreadfulz. And finally, the Elixir. Now this, I assume, is similar to a serum or something with all these different mutation projects that are popping up. The Elixir will be something like that, I would assume. And if you've ever been part of an NFT staking project, then you're probably familiar with the 5-year drip on all of the distributions, or the 5-year distribution or whatever. With Dreadfulz, they're actually doing a 6-month or 180-day distribution, meaning after the 6 months, after the 180 days, they will not receive any more Dread, therefore making this a deflationary asset. Maybe calling it an asset is a little bit early, but we'll see. So you've got ownership, governance, and utility in Dread. That is what you're staking for. That is the currency of the project. And the crazy piece about this is because you're using it to buy things, to get allocations for whitelists, for legendaries, and so on, that Dread is burned, which means if people were to go and use all of that, if 30% of the Dread had been burned from the legendary purchases, minting, and all that, the remaining 70% of Dread holders are now technically 100% owners of the vault, which means you've got to play your strategy right here based on how the project's doing and what is going on. So they go into a little bit more about the Dreads DAO, about some of the stuff that they're working on, top tier alpha channels, calls, exploring investments with Web3 startups. But overall, I think this is a really cool project. Now, if we go down to here, we're going to see who's on the Dreadfulz team. Obviously, you can see they're not doxed. That's not really a huge deal for me in NFT projects. I think that's pretty common these days. There's a lot of reasons people don't dox. It doesn't just have to be to scam people. Now, these fully minted out in about 90 minutes. Clearly, you can see with this kind of volume traded, 796 Ethereum, people like this project. So how come it hasn't moved up much from the mint price of 0.088? I'm so glad you asked. Yesterday, what Dreadfulz did was they over allocated their whitelist. Basically, they had a mint 7,777. They had 4,000 people on their whitelist. Now, 250 of those 4,000 could mint 4. The rest of the people could mint 2. And you're probably thinking, well, why didn't people figure this out beforehand? And I'm wondering the same thing, because the team said multiple times, if you're on the whitelist, you have the opportunity to buy, not the guarantee. They also were very transparent that it was over allocated by roughly about 9%. So anybody who had been active in the community, in the Discord, should be aware that it was over allocated, because they had told everybody it was over allocated. And as I was watching this mint, after about an hour, they were pushing 50-60% minted, and about an hour and 20 minutes in, they were pushing 75%. Mind you, this is the pre-sale, not the public sale. And then about 82 minutes in, it just went crazy and sold out. So the whole project was gone in under 90 minutes in the pre-list period, or the pre-sale period. It didn't even get to public sale. People in Discord started freaking out and fudding the project because they didn't get their whitelist allocation. Again, because it was over allocated, which they had told people and warned people far in advance. But that didn't stop the fudders. Thankfully, once it minted out, I was looking at OpenSea and I saw, hey, these are at 0.1 or 0.11 ETH. So I started buying them, and so did a lot of other people. But the FUD continued because after the mint, the devs moved the Ethereum to another wallet. Immediately, people started yelling scam, rug, and so on, and fudding it even further, and we started to see the price drop. I think at the peak, it reached around 0.2, maybe a little bit under that, and it started dropping. And then when the price starts dropping, what does everybody do who was just in it for a flip? They start selling. And so the price bombed basically down to like 0.1 or 0.11. And then the next wave happened and it started going back up, and it got back up to that like 0.15, 0.16 range. They got hacked. Their Discord was literally hacked. And they put a fake link right here, and anyone who connected to that link basically had their wallets robbed. This is why you have to be careful. You always have to be vigilant, even in a Discord where you trust the team, because they can get hacked. I also heard Doodles was hacked and Bored Apes were hacked, and a bunch of people were hacked in the last 24 hours. But all of this combined led to a dropping price, and it wasn't very good for the Dreadfulz project. By the way, if you're not following, Havoc the DGen on Twitter, I'll put the link in the bio, link in the description. There'll be a link somewhere. So it was a series of unfortunate events for the Dreadfulz team, and the price just dropped from there, and it kept dropping. And this morning it was down to like 0.07, 0.06, something like that. And now they are back up to 0.093, which is just above the mint price. And I think there's a lot of potential for this project to be big. Now, again, like I said, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you to get into this project. So with that said, I'm still holding mine. I've bought more throughout the dip. I bought them on the first one, bought them on the second one. We'll see how it goes. I think this project is really awesome. I think the staking is really cool, but I also think there's a lot of people in here yet who don't understand the staking and really don't understand what they have. And I think it could take a little bit of time to really pick up steam. That being said, Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button, drop me a comment, and click that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.